The planet is restless, Captain. They want their podcast. And they shall have it. I'll beam down to the surface. You have the bridge. Captain, that is illogical. These are Trek fans. They will challenge and dissect your knowledge with great emotion. It is a mission fraught with danger, peril, and grave risk. Suggestions? Send in the red shirts.
All right, people, we got a lot of stuff to cover today. All hands on deck. The red shirts are back. Let's get it popping. Okay, first thing we got to talk about. Well, first of all, let me back up. I always forget to do this. Let me introduce the crew. All right, first, I'm gonna put him in linguistics because he has an accent and he just sounds like he would be in linguistics. He is, well, I guess he would say we have an accent, but I'm gonna make him the Hoshi Sato of this.
Wow.
Because I'm watching Enterprise now. I have a new appreciation. Craig J, how are you?
Doing great, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, I guess.
Doing okay? Uh-oh. Not
And,
prepared to start
check,
the show. That's
check,
true.
check, yes. Okay, I thought my mic was not working. That's how I'm doing.
That's how unprepared you is.
Yeah, well, okay, now, ease up. Now, this next guy, we got into it earlier before the show about phasers.
He was wrong.
But as you can see, he still believes in the chain of command because he's here.
Gotcha.
And I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna be like Captain Obama when he had all those disputes with Hillary Clinton and he made her and he made her Secretary of State, right? So I'm gonna make him number one. How are you, sir? How are you, sir?
Hey, I look good in the Commander Riker beard. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we got all that bullshit out of the way. All right, here we go. Guys, we have a lot of information we have to talk about. But the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to preempt the second part of the Deep Space Nine that Big Sexy and I had when we recorded back in the middle of June. You guys can go to the go download the latest episode, latest podcast, part 1, where we actually spent half of the show talking about other stuff, and then maybe the last 30 minutes talking about DS9. There's a part 2, but we're going to preempt that because San Diego Comic-Con just came and left, and we got a lot of stuff that we need to unpack. The first thing is this trailer. So what we're going to do, we're going to do another countdown. We all have it queued up on our YouTube pages in our browsers. So we're going to queue it up. I'm at 000, and I'm seeing a lens flare, and I can see in the background CBS All Access.
Yep.
Craig, you there? Did we lose Craig?
No, I'm putting myself on mute just to make sure there's no noise from my audio. But yes, I can see it. I'm ready to go.
Okay, here we go. We are at
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Are we going to watch it, then talk about it? Or are we going to watch it and stop it and discuss it as we go through?
Well, I think it might be too problematic to try to all of us stop it when one of us call stop. So we can talk through it, and then things we didn't get a chance to talk about, we can go back. Okay.
All right.
So here we go. Countdown. We're gonna go on. Go. This is not Lethal Weapon. Are we gonna go on 1? Did we go on 1 or did we go on go? We're going on go. So 3, 2, 1, go.
We have always looked to the stars to discover who we are. And hidden there was a message. A secret made of
What's going on here, man?
visible only to those open.
Well, the effects look better visually.
She looks scared.
Captain Christopher Pike requests permission to come aboard.
All right.
This is awkward, but the best way to get into a cold.
I like it. I don't like the fact that they changed the uniforms, but I'm okay.
I like the uniform change.
Section C.
It's just that's not what Pike was wearing when we saw him in the cage.
But at least he's wearing the original series uniform. It's slightly restyled.
Color? Exactly.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's what you want to see.
Signals are beyond anything we understand.
And he came and said, I'm taking over.
The declaration of malice.
I like the way he's playing Pike as opposed to Jeffrey Hunter too.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
I don't know if I like the use of this music.
I don't like the bridge, though.
I like the humor. I like the humor.
I like the humor, too, yeah.
This is the power of math, people!
We have someone in common.
My foster brother, Mr. Spock.
He took leave.
I got a problem here.
Run into a question he couldn't answer.
I got a problem with her being commander.
Okay, we can hold off on that. Now, these spaceships, they remind me of the jelly pod that Spock had in the first Kelvin film.
The unfunny Tig Notaro.
Wherever our mission takes us. We'll try to have a little fun along the way. Ruffle a few feathers.
I look forward to it.
So they got Pike in one of their uniforms.
But,
Hit it.
look closely, though.
I like the design on this alien. He's a Saurian.
Excuse me.
He looks like the guy...
The Gorn. The Gorn.
Yeah, he looks like the Gorn.
Yes, I hear it's going around.
Look at Pike. The hell?
Yeah, he'd have to get a beat down if he did that to me. Okay, there you have it. That's the trailer. Let's break it apart. Okay, one of the problems I have is I don't like, and we're gonna get into this. Maybe we can get it. We can broach it now. I don't like that they're connecting. There's a shot where they're looking at these red dots in space, and I think Pike and Michael has some. They say something like, "Yeah, Spock has something to do with that," so they have to go find Spock.
Yeah.
I don't like. You don't have to tie the bow that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't want Spock. I don't want. Do your own thing, guys. The trailer looks dope as hell. It looks great. My only complaint other than that was, I wish they would have kept the Enterprise polo shirt, which I'm going to refer to it as. The redesign is very stately looking. I give it that, but it's not what Pike was wearing in the cage.
Well, again, this predates the cage.
So you're saying that he would go through a change after this when the timeline of the cage catches up?
Okay, this is driving me nuts. I need to see what he was wearing in the cage. I have forgotten.
Yeah, no, he wasn't wearing this uniform. It was remember that the cage was the original pilot, and so they redesigned the uniforms for the second pilot.
Okay, but it's not a deal breaker. But let's talk about this Spock
it's okay.
thing. And let's just jump ahead into it. They're recasting Spock. I got a real problem with that, people.
Before we talk about that, don't you think that it's a little bit too much that Captain Pike comes and just like rocks up and takes over the ship? Yeah, I mean, come on. What kind of BS is that?
Bogarted too.
Well, they don't have a captain.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, Discovery is Section 31, and the Enterprise is the regular Starfleet. What's all this taking over the ship here? Yeah,
I don't know that they established Discovery as Section 31. Did they?
Well, they wear completely different uniforms, so they've got to be some different part of Starfleet, right?
Okay, I'm looking at a screen capture of the original uniform of Pike, and you're right. It's wrong technically.
But isn't it blue? It's like a
no. It's the right color.
Oh,
but there's no black neck trim.
I can let that go. They got close enough, I guess. I'll take it.
No, I said we can. That's enough whining about Captain Pike suddenly taking over the Discovery. But I just thought it was a little bit too much, really. I thought there'd be something more like they would be working with each other, and Pike would stay on the Enterprise, and they'd go into battle together, that kind of thing.
That would be more interesting. I agree with you on that. And it kind of would fall more in canon with the first Star Trek Discovery novel, where the Discovery, the Discovery meets up with the Enterprise, and Burnham does go on a mission with Spock in that novel. But yeah, so here he's just taking over the ship, so it is kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Like, who's in command? I guess Spock. Wouldn't Spock be in command on the Enterprise then?
I think in the trailer they reveal that Spock actually is not there and he's in trouble somewhere. So yeah, so somebody else would take over.
I guess it'd be number one. Or...
Mm.
I also go back to the uniform that Pike in this episode or this, trailer, he's got the color right. He's got the style right because they had the little wrist thingies. But if you look closely, it's got the same piping trim that the Discovery uniforms have. So I can see that being a transition from Discovery to uniforms that we know. And maybe they'll do that at some point in this season.
Okay, all right. But you were going to point out, is that what you wanted to point out earlier? When I mentioned that he's wearing the Discovery blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's not wearing the Discovery blue at all, thank God. And
no, he is. There's a shot where he is.
Who, Pike?
Yeah, at index 201. That's him.
Let's see.
That's what I thought you were commenting on.
Oh, son of a bitch. No. I take it all back.
well, I don't. Well, not saying that what your supposition may be valid, and maybe he's just putting on their uniform to fit in, which doesn't really make sense. But
no, because he's the captain, he shouldn't have to do that.
Okay, we have some. You know what? I'm going to release my hate. I know that's another franchise, but the trailer looks great, and all of the trailers. I mean. I was on another podcast where we talked about Aquaman, we talked about Shazam, we talked about Glass, the sequel to Unbreakable. None of those trailers did anything for me, but this one excites me. So
I like Shazam, but that's another story.
It's another story. But I you know what? I mean, the effects looks like they doubled down on the budget, which is why it's going to take us till January 19th. To see this thing. Is that I think that's the release date, January 19th.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do they put this trailer together with all these shots from different episodes, or maybe they're all from one episode, and we'll have to wait another 6 months to see the show? It's crazy.
Well, this might be. You know what? I don't see anything in here that would indicate that this is not maybe the first 2 episodes, which I would think would be in the can by now. You know?
Yep, you're right. It could be the first 2.
So, but I want to go back to what I had brought up before. I have a problem with the fact that they are bringing in a Spock storyline, and beyond that they're recasting Spock. What do you guys think about that?
Well, why are they recasting Spock? Did something happen? Did the guy they have just say, you know what, I don't want to do it? Was there falling out? What happened?
Which guy are you talking about?
The first Spock guy they had.
You're thinking of Sarek.
I stand corrected again. Damn, that's twice.
Yeah, they're recasting Spock for the second time, and I'm not happy about it.
I'm not happy. Very unhappy. It's unnecessary.
You sound like you were doing a George Bush right there.
George is getting upset.
I mean, just leave that alone. I mean, does anyone agree? I just hate it when we like you, Star Trek Discovery. You don't have to rely so much. I mean, Pike, cool. We saw Pike in 1 episode. The second episode, he was f***ed up. He looked like a bowl of mashed potatoes sitting in a chair. We don't care about that. Pike's cool. But don't recast Spock. We didn't like it in the Kelvin universe, did we?
No, we did not.
We didn't like the Kelvin universe.
No, we do not.
So, when you do that, you can only set yourself up for failure. I mean, because there's a continuity that I'm sure they're not really paying all that much attention to.
Yeah, Spock is too much of a legendary character to be recast. He was in every single episode of the original series, in every movie, and some other movies, even in the new series movies. Same guy, Leonard Nimoy. So.
There's also Next Generation a few times. Right?
Oh yes, that's right.
And I just have a bugaboo about, they're going to put Spock in canon stories that I'm always going to be thinking, well, why didn't that come up in the original series? Why didn't he mention that in any of the movies? You know what I mean? You know, like when he dies, you think he'd say something like, "This is far." You know, I thought I would have made it through this if I could have made it through those red dots in Star Trek. In Star Trek Discovery. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but trailer looks great, but I think you guys are setting yourself up for failure and for us Trekkies to say that's not in continuity, that's not in canon. So, all right, let's move on. We got some other news. Unless you guys have anything else to say.
Just more about Discovery. Is that, did you read that they're going to have little small segments they're going to play, little like mini episodes of Discovery this year?
I did read that. Where are they going to play? Are they going to?
I'm not sure.
Are they for YouTube or Netflix or?
I don't know. I didn't read that far.
Okay.
They did a couple of those for The Wire back when it was on.
Well, it seems like it's a common thing. It's not common, but it's a kind of a trending thing that for these big properties they might put out side stories or small 10 to 11 minute clips on YouTube.
Yeah, a little buzz. Yeah, keep them out there.
So,
I mean, they have to, because the thing's only coming back in 2019, so they have to keep the interest up. But if they're calling them short treks, maybe that's just what the article called them. But I'm just trying to read where they're going to be playing. So 10 to 15 minutes long.
Oh, you have an article there?
Yeah, so they're gonna bring back Harry Mudd for one of the episodes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
they got him wrong, but let's see.
One episode's gonna follow Saru. One episode's gonna do Tilly, and I forget the other one. But sounds interesting.
Okay, all right. Those are popular characters. I'd like to see one with Osawa-kun. Is that her name? The black woman with the exotic hair. Oh, that reminds me. Since we're talking about cast now, I was looking at some YouTube stuff, some press stuff with the cast at Comic-Con. I saw one clip that where they were coming to some sort of press conference, or I guess Hall H, and Wilson Cruz was with them, and I tweeted to Wilson Cruz. I said, "Oh, at W Cruz is in the press material. Does that mean he's coming back for season 2? Double exclamation point, double question mark." And he liked my tweet. He didn't deny it,
but he didn't affirm it either.
Right, but I'm just saying, if he's in the press material, you see him walking to Hall H, and he doesn't deny. He doesn't say, "No, I'm not going to be in season 2." Is it possible we're going to get him back? And I wonder how they're going to explain that.
Well, yeah, he was there, and I don't know. I hope they don't do clones. That would suck.
Is it possible that, and this would be the stupidest thing ever, is it possible that when Lorca died, that green thing of light that landed on Tilly, that's his soul or something?
Remember, that's what I was saying a couple episodes ago. That would be really corny, because they made a point of following that thing onto his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's look at this now. Let's look at this, because from storyline, it looks like he's dead. But socially, they got to bring him back, because they made such a big deal about, him and the lieutenant being a couple. And then to kill him off after the first season, that's not going to go over well.
Well, I made that same observation in the finale review that we did, and I don't know. Maybe they don't give a shit. Who knows? But
and I hope they're not. Ooh, I'm not going to say it.
No, you can't have that set up and say you're not going to say it.
Okay, I hope they didn't kill him off, just for the effect, and then try to replace an actor of that demographic with Tig Notaro. That's not cool if they did that.
Well, okay, I hear what you're saying, but if they were going to replace him with Tig Notaro, they would have to put her in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And who's that going to be?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that would be corny if it's an unknown cast member because I got a feeling, it's not going to be. It wouldn't be. I don't know her name. The woman who has the implants. What's her name?
Oh yeah, what's her face?
See, and that's another problem. I got to say, as much as I like the first season, with Star Trek original series, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, even Enterprise, you didn't have to search for the characters' names of the bridge crew.
Well, because it was more evenly distributed among the members. This first season was really about Burnham, and again, we're looking at it through Burnham's eyes. So it was really more about Burnham and Lorca, and I can't pronounce the captain's name.
Captain Giorgio?
Giorgio. It was more about that, line of people. Like the other cast members, or the crew members, we didn't really get to know that much, really. Except near the end when the redheaded girl started to, show some comedy relief.
Well, yeah, that was the concept that the producers decided to go with. It wasn't so much focused on the bridge crew as it was on one character's point of view, which is fine.
Which is fine, but that means that we suffer. I don't want to say suffer, but we miss out on meeting the other members of the crew equally, like we did in DS9 or Voyager.
Right. All right, so I want to move on. We have some other news. This is dated July 20th, so it's a little bit dated if you go by today's age. News that's 3 days old is like ancient, but we have a new cast member. I'm sure a lot of guys out there will be thrilled. I mean, she's gorgeous, but yeah. I question her acting chops, and that would be Rebecca Romijn. She's playing what?
She's not Meryl Streep, but come on, she's not Tori Spelling either.
Well, I was okay with Tori Spelling, but according to TrekCore.com, news is breaking today, as of July, 20th, that CBS has cast actor Rebecca Romijn to be his first. So wait a minute. Not only is Pike commandeering the ship, as Craig pointed out, he's appointing this unknown person to the crew as his first officer.
Maybe we'll find out that the number one is his number one from the Enterprise, because you remember there was a female number one on the original Enterprise, so that's probably what's going on.
That could be her, yes.
Yeah.
So
he's going to bring her over and say, right, my number one is your number one.
But to me, that strikes me as this is not a temporary assignment for Pike. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
When Kirk took over, Kirk bogarted the Enterprise from Decker in motion picture. Then he bogarted the Enterprise from Spock. He didn't put in new crew. I mean, obviously the crew in both cases were his old crew, I guess. So maybe that's apples and oranges. But to kind of smack Saru and Michael in the face and say, nah, sit tight. I'm bringing my girl over from the Enterprise. That's kind of...
Well, isn't that what Picard did, though?
What did Picard do?
He brought Riker over from somewhere.
But there wasn't already a number one on that ship at the time when he was first posted.
Good point.
So yeah, that's kind of dirty, man. We all know Rebecca Romijn. She's married to John Stamos, I believe.
Oh no.
Did he get divorced? That's over. Oh
yeah, John had the keys to the kingdom and f***ed it up.
You got a shot now, Big Sexy?
Oh, I do have a shot, baby. We're gonna work this out.
Okay. Well, she's probably best known nowadays for her role as Mystique in the X-Men movies. And hey, listen, I'm a red-blooded human male. I liked her in that, even though she was blue. But I don't know. She looks like she's also starred in The Librarians, the TNT.
On TNT?
Yeah.
Never watched it.
Neither have I. Well, so what do you got? You guys are okay with it? Craig, what do you think about her as a cast member?
I have no problem at all. No, no complaints.
You know, and I hate to be this much of a caveman, but it looks like ever since Voyager, they've tried to have quote unquote a hot woman in there. 7 of 9, hot. The woman on Enterprise, the Vulcan woman, smoking hot. And Rebecca Romaine now has a history of hotness.
Well, you are correct, but I don't think they're going to put her in a skin tight uniform. That would be
watching.
That would be stupid. That would be stupid. But no,
she's a little pandering. Yeah,
she is attractive. And you know what's funny? They did that with Troy in TNG back in '87.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So, all right. Then we also have we had Tig Notaro. We talked about her. She's going to be a new cast member.
See, right there. Let me branch off. I've seen her stand up a few times.
Yeah.
Not a lot, because I'm not a fan. But it looks like she's like the male or female equivalent of a Tracy Morgan type character. She's not doing anything in that little scene other than being Tig Notaro.
Well,
give me more than that.
For those of us who don't know who Tracy Morgan is, just briefly give us your take on tell us who Tracy Morgan is and your take on him and why you compare him to her.
Well, first of all, for those of you who don't know who Tracy Morgan is, you have my appreciation because he's not funny. He's been a stand-up. He's been on the show Martin. He really came to fame on 30 Rock and has done films and whatnot. He has a show now on TBS called The Last OG. And if you look at anything he has ever done, he's playing the same character. Over and over.
And your point is to say that you loathe her as much as you loathe him.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. No.
Well, from the brief second that I saw her on screen, I think she fits the part. She looks the part. I could see her as an engineer.
Well, let's see what she can do, because engineers are really techie based. Scotty, of course, set the mold. LaForge did a great job. Milan Torres was great. So let's see. Oh God, Chief O'Brien. So if she can fit in that group, I'm all for it.
I'm probably going to take some heat for this, but those who don't know Tig Notaro, I wonder how long it's going to take for them to realize that she's actually a woman.
Okay. Moving right along here.
Because when I listen, I keeps it real. I'm just saying, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's Tig Notaro. Okay, I thought that was some guy. Okay, all right, that's the engineer. Great.
Oh.
Anyway. So I'm looking now at TrekMovie.com. I noticed Craig got very quiet. Craig, do you want me to? You want to suit on? Should I not identify you by your name anymore on this show?
Yeah. You better edit some of this show out, I think.
Listen. Moving on to TrekMovie.com. So we have some more details. I'm going to read some of this crap that Kurtzman says about casting Spock. He says, we are casting a new Spock. It's not just a possibility, it's been done. Okay, Big Sexy, I'm going to ask you to hold on to yourself, all right?
I'm holding.
Everybody assumes that because, this is a quote from him, everybody assumes that because Spock is all about logic, that there is no emotion in there, and that is entirely untrue. Okay, he's right, but the fact that he says it tells me they're going to overdo it. If he felt the need to say that, that tells me they're going to overdo it.
Sadly, I think you're right.
Yep.
And then he says, so finding an actor convey what we know to be very Vulcan, but also reveal so much emotion in the eyes and in the small gestures, so you can understand there is just a tornado of things just happening under the surface is critical. You need an actor who can do both of those things at the same time, which is very challenging. And he has a point, but again, you're making too much of it. That tells me you're going to overstate this thing,
Actually, when you continue to read that, then it made more sense what he's saying. He's saying that Spock is still going to be reserved. He's still going to be logical. But you'll be able to tell that he's conflicted and so on, which is good, actually.
I think it's good because, again, going back to the cage, that Spock had emotion. A little corny, but he had emotion.
And we never saw that pilot, did we? Until they released it, 30 years later?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I know you guys are right. But what I'm saying, and I think, I like what he's saying. But the fact, Big Sexy, this is what you're all about. The fact that he feels like he has to make the point, just like you've always said about, LGBTQ characters always having to make the point that just let it happen. The fact that he's saying this means that they're probably going to overstate it. They're going to
oversell it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Now, they also say Pike is the opposite of Lorca. Well, I would hope so, given that Lorca was from the Mirror Universe. Executive producer Heather Caden weighs in. Quote, "There is this cool confidence. It is such a nice... And oh my God, people can't write anymore on these articles. It is.
You sure it's just because you can't read?
Well, no, you can go to the link and you see it says it is such a nice to have such an opposition. It is okay. It is so nice to have such an opposition to what Jason Isaacs played last year with Captain Lorca. The presence is very Captain-like immediately, but a total opposite note. Well, so he's basically just being a starship captain. Okay, well done.
I would need to watch The Cage again to see if that's how he played there too.
Well,
I don't remember.
I speculated that in The Cage he didn't really command. From what I remember, he was kind of stiff and just kind of boring. From what I recall, this guy looks like he's got some swagger, a little bit of Indiana Jones to him. I don't know. Maybe that's not the right character, but he's got a little bit of Kurt to him, maybe, which I'm good with.
Mm-hmm.
Some more news. Michelle Yeoh will be returning, according to Sonequa Martin Green. She will be playing Emperor Giorgio, so still the Mirror Universe version. She and Michael Burnham have to find a way to work together in the second season. Now, what could that possibly mean?
Well, why is she staying in the Trek universe?
Well, remember at the end, in the finale, they let her go on the Klingon planet, Kronos, right?
Yeah, but shouldn't she go back to where, the Mirror universe?
How's she going to get back there?
Good point.
I mean, you could say they could have easily written her that she found a ship or something, but if they didn't send her back, there's a practical reason because she didn't have a way back. And I think she said something about she likes that planet because it's so full of debauchery. Didn't she say something like that?
Yeah, she did. Getting a freak on.
They say season 2 isn't about the Enterprise, and I'm quoting Alex Kurtzman. It affects it pretty significantly. This is in regards to the group was asked how the arrival of the Enterprise at the end of season 1 impacts season 2. I think we kind of saw that. Obviously, this is a quote. Obviously, Captain Pike has shown up, and he is here for a very specific reason. We will discover that the reason the Enterprise is here is tied into a larger story that is really the thrust of season 2 that isn't about the Enterprise. Well, if it's not about the Enterprise, why is Pike taking over Discovery then? You know what I mean?
I got the feeling it was about Spock, isn't it? He's trapped somewhere or something.
But why the need to take over the Discovery for that? You know what I mean? For that story.
Well, because Discovery does not have a captain, if I recall correctly, and maybe they want to bring Pike and Spock in to show whoever the captain will be, how to run the ropes.
I suppose, but I don't know. I'm with Craig a little bit. Why do you take over the Enterprise? Why do you take over Discovery to do any of that? What can you do on Discovery?
Again, I don't think it's being taken over. I'm thinking they don't have a captain, and the Federation needs somebody to teach this crew and see who among them can step forward and be the captain, or if they need to look outside.
Excuse my language, but if I'm Saru, I'm like, F all that.
Oh, I agree. Shot.
Because Saru put in work on one episode last season, and we all were like, "Oh, he was a dope character," even though he acts like a pussy sometimes.
There you go.
He was a
You
dope.
can't be captain and have that type of, you know, vulnerability, for lack of a better word.
But my point is, he put it all aside. That's why he made such a great captain.
Yeah, but I think going from, command to captain that quickly, and I'm looking at you, Michael Burnham. I think it's just too quick of an ascension.
Well,
let him earn it. Let him earn it.
What I'm saying is, okay, yeah, they were going to, they were traveling to Vulcan to pick up a new captain in the finale, and what I'm saying is, Saru was, he was the the field captain, or temporary captain. So
yeah.
let him keep command.
No.
No.
Gotta earn it. Gotta earn it.
I'm saying keep command until they do get to the real captain.
Look how long it took Cisco to become captain.
Yeah,
they just hand it to him.
I get it. What I'm saying is, in the interim, just let.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So Pike doesn't need to leave his crew on the Enterprise to come.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going. Okay.
Yeah. Craig, what are your thoughts on all this?
I think we're speculating, and it to us it seems wrong, but I'm sure that once we see that first episode, we'll get it. We'll understand why he needs to take over. Maybe he needs to take over command because he needs the capabilities of the ship, the spore drive, which he doesn't have on the Enterprise. Maybe he needs that to do whatever he needs to do, save Spock or whatever the deal is.
Well, now, am I mistaken? But I thought the spore drive, I could be mistaken, but I thought the spore drive was inoperable as of the finale last season.
I hope so, because I don't like it.
I don't remember now, but you might be right about that. So no more Black Alert then.
Okay, so all right, I maybe have a little issue. Craig and I maybe have a little issue with Pike taking over the Discovery. My number one. Of course, he's cool with Rebecca Romijn coming on as number one on Discovery, and he sounds like he's still a little bit okay with Pike taking over. But if we have Pike, the captain, on Discovery, do you think it would be a bad idea if they shift the POV from Michael to Pike? And if they did that, do you think there would be an outcry because of the whole taking it away from the black female character, which was a model for, was inspiring for a lot of people?
Well, in the first season of anything, sometimes you have to make adjustments. Now, I'm not saying it didn't work like that, because it did. But, they're reaching into the well, bringing in Pike, bringing in Spock. There's only, 48 minutes they have to work with. So I don't know. I'm sure if they do step away from her being, the lens we watch it through, which I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll show through her lens, and they'll show us, Pike we don't know about, because we don't know a lot about Pike. And Pike on the films, he doesn't count. So we don't know a lot about Pike, and we can all learn together. Especially if they do Spock the way they did in the Cage, because he was so corny.
I think they will keep this perspective of Michael Burnham. There's really no need to switch that, and we can see Pike through her. No problem. I think they'll do it. I don't think they'll switch to him.
Big Sexy, what would your reaction be if we know they recast Spock? We don't know who the actor is as of yet, but what if he were to play the Spock from the Cage, where he has the spiky front do, right? The spiky bangs, and he has more emotion.
I would be okay with that, because to me that's canon. Because I remember seeing Spock. What was it? What was that 2-part episode called after they did the Cage? When they didn't air the Cage?
Where No Man Has Gone Before is the one.
Is that the no? Where they went? Is that the one where they went back there with Pike in the wheelchair and all that?
Oh, the Menagerie.
Menagerie, that's right.
Yeah.
When I first saw the Menagerie, and I saw Spock just hamming it up, and they even referenced that in the captain's log. So that's canon. And if they have Spock, yes, Captain, we're going to fire phasers, I'm all for it. And they have him tone that down as the season goes on, I am all for that. I just don't want it to be a blatant, crisp. Episode 3 he's all corny, and episode 4 he's Spock. We all know. No, let that develop over time, and I would love that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Now, can you guys still see my screen?
Oh yes.
Okay, so not sure. I cleaned it up before we started this. I'm not sure what you're looking at, but so you see this cast picture here, right? And who is this woman? For those who can't see what I'm pointing at, there's a blonde woman in some of the press material. If you go to trekmovie.com, there's a blonde woman with glasses on. Do you recognize her? Is she?
I was going to ask who the guys in the vest and tie.
That's Doug Jones, Saru.
Oh, not makeup. Okay.
And the woman standing behind him, that's Mary Chieffo, who played Laurel. Was that her name? The Klingon mate, right? So the fact that she's back, the fact that your man Shazad Latif, is that his name?
Yeah. I don't think they got rid of him.
What happened? Oh no, they didn't get rid of him. They one was led to believe that he became fully human. I believe, right?
I have to look.
I remember they kind of left that unresolved. She's in sick bay with him, and she does something. And I seem to think that I want to say that she made him fully human, and then she did the Klingon howl or something like that out of anguish because she did that.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
So he's still around, but so I guess she's Laurel's coming back, and this Wilson Cruz thing, man, that's interesting.
Who's out in front of Cruz?
I think that's Kurtzman.
He's not a cast member. Get out.
Well, no, he's a producer.
Yeah,
Okay.
Behind the camera, pal. Beat it.
Well, these guys all want to work, so
Yeah.
bring them on. You can sit next to me, Alex. Meanwhile, can you write that? Can you give me a little bit more lines in that script? So, no, this is cool, but I'm just wondering who the blonde is. But
I do not know.
I bet you. Well, maybe it's executive producer Heather Caden. Maybe that's who it is.
I was like, can you scroll down?
Yeah, because Heather Caden gives a little quote that I read earlier. So something tells me that that's who that is.
So they're not going to bring back the Admiral then, I take it, now they've killed Lorca.
Oh, Cornwell. Yeah, what happened to her?
I liked her.
She was a great character. She was a pushover.
Hey.
She was a pushover. Lorca gave her the bedroom eyes, and it was on. That was the episode Letha, whatever. And then in the finale, just because Saru and the crew stood up when she wanted to bomb the Kronos Klingon planet, she's like, well, what do you guys want to do? I'm like, get out of here. Yeah, so there you have it. You got your man Black Bolt, the new Captain Pike. Crickets.
Yeah, I tried to watch that show, but
Greg, you didn't watch Inhumans? Any of Inhumans?
No, I did not.
I tried to defend it, but
Okay. All right. Well, all right. So this was a somewhat abbreviated show, but we had to get it out. We're going to pick up the DS9 discussion between Big Sexy and myself. I'm going to put that out in a couple weeks now, or maybe the following week. But we had to address all of this stuff coming out. To all our listeners, let us know what you think. I think I can say on behalf of my crew that we liked the trailer. We like the fact it looks like the budget is still there. For me, it means it's going to take a long time to get season 3 if they keep spending money like that. But good looking trailer. We had a problem with Spock being a major focal point of the plot, and recasting Spock. Other than that, guys, I'm on board. I think you are too, right?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay. And that means, since it's Star Trek, you're also looking forward to the next Kelvin Universe movie too, right?
Hell no.
Oh no.
Okay.
However, looking forward to the Orville, because they also put that trailer out there. It looks pretty fun.
That's right. Orville's
Oh,
good
yeah.
too. Orville's good.
Good stuff.
You notice how quiet he got.
I'm going to tell you now that if you listen back to this and you notice that little statement wasn't in there, it's not because I edited it out. Not at all. I love Seth MacFarlane. He's so original. And he's funny.
Oh, it's just dripping off of him, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
See the sarcasm dripping.
All right, so that sounded a little weird when you say it that way. But anyway,
Damn.
people, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Do me a favor, go to iTunes and subscribe. Download the podcast. Check us out on Facebook. You can search on Red Shirts, a Star Trek podcast. Go to YouTube. Come January when the show comes back on. First, I got to once again sign up for CBS All Access again. I want to call them and be like, oh, you say Michael Jones used to be a member and he signed off? No, that's not me. There's a lot of Michael Joneses out there. Can I get it back, please?
Well, they can stop.
I'm in the same boat. I canceled my subscription too. I'm not watching any other CBS shows, so when it gets time, I'll subscribe again.
Yeah, and they'll be happy to have you back. Trust me.
Yeah, probably will. Yes, also check us out on YouTube. Search on Red Shirts, a Star Trek podcast. On Twitter, at RedShirts1701. I can tell you right now, the Tumblr page, don't even bother with that bullshit. I don't know. I'm done with that. I don't have time to go there.
Is Tumblr still a thing?
It is. Well, I don't know. Well, not for Red Shirts, it's not.
Okay.
But I am going to start up an Instagram page. Everyone's saying, you got to get on Instagram. You know, I don't want to reveal my age, but I'm going to be about as old as Star Trek is, the whole franchise, and come August 1st. So.
But the good thing about Instagram, I've been active on it a few weeks, and a lot last week, is there's a little tab in there that you can say, post to Twitter, post to Facebook. Boom! One post, you're in and out.
Well, and Craig, you can speak to this. You have different markets. You have different demographics. I gotta customize the message, right, Craig? Craig?
Sorry, I'm clicking unmute. I'm clicking my unmute button, but I'm not clicking it properly. But you're right about that. That is exactly right. However, I don't use Instagram that way. I just post random stuff. So, you know.
So wait, my linguistics officer didn't know how to open his channel.
That's right.
That's beautiful. All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Remember to tune in for Big Sexy and me for the next chapter in the DS9 discussion. Craig, listen, man, I got to tell you before we go, just because you don't know a show, I know you're opinionated. I know you can bloviate. I know you can speak on any topic. Just because you don't know the show. Now, speaking of that, because I want to do a show about Enterprise since I just started watching that. And I'm going to send you guys, I want to do a show where I give my first impressions, and I'm going to send you guys some specific episodes to watch so you can just comment on it, right? Okay?
It's fair enough. I'll drag myself back to that crappy show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on. It was terrible.
It's been a long... I know the words now, Big Sexy.
Damn it, I like the song.
You know, I'm almost liking it as much as I like Man in Motion now. I couldn't even keep a straight face when I said that. All right, that's all, people. We're out of here. Peace.
Bye.
Let me get a check from Big Sexy.
I love Rebecca Romaine.
Okay, here we go. As usual, I'm not prepared, but...
Yep, as usual.
That's our captain.
All right, here we go. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to scroll down on this thing, but this bootleg mouse... Craig, you remember this mouses that had a nipple that you would scroll with? Oh, me.
Where did you get that from? Like, you dig it out of the cupboard from the 1990s thing?
Oh, hopefully this other mouse has a charge now. Let's pause for a sec. Jesus Christ.
A nipple.
Yeah, Micah's magic mouse.
Here we
Batteries
go.
died.
Magic nipple.
I got it. Okay. All right. Red Shirts is not endorsed by Paramount Pictures, Viacom, or CBS It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Star Trek, the Star Trek logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Star Trek characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.